All right, here we go. We're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Restream. Or request. Why did I say Restream? Damn, I'm tired. I'm more tired than I thought I was, honestly. I am. I'm just fucking beat, man. Maybe it's because I know that I'm going to be chopping trees down tomorrow, and it, makes me more tired knowing, you know? Ding dong. Anyway, welcome to the show, everyone. It's not a regular side quest. Sorry. We're going to talk about that, but yeah, let's just say hi to everybody. Everybody who showed up today.
Hi.
Yep. Greetings. This is. I'm sorry I didn't have time to get out of character. Look, I was a bit rushed, and I might have taken it very seriously. So here we are.
It's fine, bro. It's request, and It's been a while since we done one of these, hung out with the fans, and I kind of been wanting to do one of these anyway, because I'd like to know from the fans what they think of the new rules to the show and the mini quests and stuff, like what they think of them and if they're doing good or if people like them or if there needs to be some changes. I know we haven't done as many shows this year as we did last year so far. We've had to cancel a few times, and I had to move to Mondays for a few weeks because I've been helping my dad chop down fucking trees on the land up here, and it's been exhausting. And Friday night, he's been coming up on Fridays. All that stuff. Life gets in the way. I know that a lot of our crew members have jobs and families and social obligations and all kinds of stuff, and people get sick, and it's just, we've had a slow start to the year. But I just wanted to reassure the fans that it's not because we don't want to do the show. It's because life, you know. Is that a correct summary?
No, it's because you're fucking gay. That's why.
Oh, I was gonna say that is pretty accurate, at least for me. Just life does not want us to be on a timely schedule, apparently, and it's doing a really good job of it thus far. So
nature is friend tooth and claw, was to be expected.
Right. So anyway, I was thinking about something, and I lost it.
that's good. This is a good stream. We're doing good so far.
We're so good. But yeah, I was thinking about something, actually. How we could get a couple more cast members to help us fill in slots and stuff. And I remember we talked about it, and I decided not to try to find anybody new because it would just be more people that we would have to split split the profits with, right? And it's well, that's even more people. But then I realized something. It doesn't matter who's on the show. If there's 4 people, it gets split 4 ways. So if you show up, you get paid. It doesn't matter how many people we have working for us. If you think about it.
That's a good point.
It wouldn't cut into our profit. It's not like we're splitting it 5 ways. You know, it's still just going to be 4 people per side quest. We would just have more options for when people miss a show. So maybe we could possibly talk to some people about being standbys. They may not be on every show, but I'm just putting it out there as an idea, you know, because I mainly been thinking about it because I really would love a ghost character. I want to find a girl that can play like a ghost, that can be like a wailing banshee.
So somebody, yeah, I was gonna say somebody outside of our kind of political sphere, then,
right.
That made a feminist joke. Okay, I'm off my game tonight. Sorry.
It's been a while.
I'll be quiet now.
Yeah.
We all.
But yeah, it's the idea of it being like this. I don't know, like a female character who has a tragic backstory and she's haunting the Witchmore or something. And she makes friends with Magog. I don't know. I'm just playing, because it would be kind of cool to get somebody with just a green screen. No fancy background. They could just do their costume however they want. And then what could happen is they can key out the green screen and then put behind them like an image of like a dark forest or whatever they want behind them. And then they can pull the opacity down and make themselves see-through. And I thought that would just look really cool on the show. I'm like I said, I'm brainstorming. I'm just putting it out there.
That is it doesn't take that much of a budget in regard to special effects. It's readily available with what we have now. That would be really easy to do, and it would be really cool.
Yeah, the only thing you would need would be like a decent camera, probably.
Well, I think it would work better if the person can stand up. Because it might work if they're sitting down, as long as the chair's not like yours, Spooky. Your chair goes, because you're like a midget. Your chair goes up like over your head. Like my chair's
gaming chair. I keep it hidden under a cloak.
Yeah, it's a racing seat. Like you have a racing seat.
I don't know if that has a name on it. There, but yeah, it's a little gaming chair I keep it in.
Right, but a phantom lady. Like a woman in white. The legends. You guys know the woman in white legends. They span different cultures. But it would be kind of fun, to kind of find the right person to play that kind of character.
The only thing would be like if she screams, is she like quiet most of the time and then she screams, or is she just screaming the whole time? Because I feel like they'd get very old very fast.
Not a literal banshee. I was using it as a general descriptor, because banshees are ghosts, aren't they?
Just reads the whole time.
Yeah, like the Irish Celtic legends of banshees are basically wailing women. They're but I think it could open up a lot of funny jokes too, because it's like she could come on with like a different costume each episode, and then we could finally just be like, how do ghosts change their clothes? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Didn't know Spooky was in the death metal? Yeah, I'm in the metal.
Like, how do you stop getting your ectoplasm all over me? I'm all sticky,
You could also do a guy who just died in a really shitty way or something.
Yeah, but I think the ghost character should be a girl, personally, because I think it's kind of, it's very like, I don't know, I see her kind of as like a ghostly, like emo chick. Like her emotions run the gambit because she's dead, right?
What is that Harry Potter character that?
Yeah, like the girl with the glasses in the hair.
Yeah, Moaning Myrtle, the kind of Me Too-y, creepy one.
Yeah. The one that
Me Too by Moaning Myrtle.
Yeah.
The one that watches men bathe. And
she looks exactly like Daniel Radcliffe, but like a girl version of him. And I always thought that was weird.
Did you ever look up the actress who played her?
No.
Like, she's like 40.
I've seen her in stuff since.
Oh, really?
Like, she is not a teenage. Like, she just has one of those faces that she looks very young, and she can make her voice go really high. That's not her natural voice. Like, she's doing a high-pitched, like, kid voice or something. It's very strange, because when I looked it up, it's like, Daniel Radcliffe's this age, and then she's like 20 years older than him.
Pedophile.
I
wish she would be a pedo in that case, right? She's like a 200-something-year-old ghost, right?
I'm just saying, given that when she popped up in, I think the first film was The Goblet of Fire, she popped up in.
No, it's the second one.
They were still kids, No, it was
Goblet of Fire. She was at.
No,
Are you sure?
Oh no, it was because it was.
She haunts the bathroom and like
because she got killed by the giant snake. That's right. It was.
And then after he gets goes through puberty, then she starts lusting after him.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's right. Because in the first one, Hermione accidentally turns herself into a cat girl, which is not as hot as I.
No, she's like an actual anthropomorphic cat creature.
She looked like a furry, but not as hot as Japanese cat girls, right? But anyway, no, I thought, as far as the ghost character, I don't think the guy would be as fun unless he could be like a Dullahan. You guys know what a Dullahan is?
Dullahan?
No.
Oh, by the way, do we need me to open up Streamlabs or you got it?
Oh, I forgot to open it. If somebody somebody opens it, that'd be cool.
Nobody's like trying to get in, right? Is everybody?
What?
Ark left the call, and I think he's trying to probably get back in. I think he had a technical difficulty.
No, I haven't seen an alert. I didn't even.
There he
is. Yeah, he's back. Must have had browser problems or something. I don't know. But anyway, as I was saying, I think the only way the ghost would work with a dude is if he could be like a Doulahan, and I don't know how to pull that off.
Or he just dies in a really shitty way. Could do that.
A Doulahan is a headless.
Well, he could. No, that could be easy. Yeah. He just wears a sheet, like a green sheet.
No, I mean their head is gone. It's more like the headless horse. They're a body.
Okay.
They're a body, and they carry their head. Right, oftentimes. A Doulahan is a beheaded knight. You know.
Okay.
I've only been exposed to Doulahans in the context of that one isekai where some guy gets reborn into a fantasy world, and
that's all isekai. Oh, you're talking about you're talking about Konosuba, where he has to fight the Doulahan.
Well, yes, because I watched it at your recommendation.
Yeah, it's one of the best ones because it more makes fun of the genre. It's hilarious, and I love that Doulahan in Konosuba because the horse doesn't have a head either, so the raids are just floating. Like the horse raids are just floating in midair because the horse doesn't have a head either. It's fucking hilarious.
Who's holding the horse's head?
But yeah, because he's on a horse and the horse doesn't have a head either. The headless horseman from Sleepy Hollow is a Doulahan. It's based off of Celtic legends, right? So
headless horseman, headless horse. Okay, I'm getting caught details here. Never mind. Disregard me.
Headless horse.
Yeah, the only way I could fully see a Doulahan is if they had like a dummy body, like a mannequin dressed in a knight's outfit without a head, and it had its hand out, and then they could like just green screen their head, like in the hand, like, "Hey guys, welcome to Side Quest."
Somebody in the chat said, "Go ahead."
So would they have to like hold it the whole time, or they have to get like a puppet hand?
Well, Doulahans. Well, depends on the legend. I've read some legends about Doulahans where they have no head whatsoever. They're just a headless, ghostly form with like green fire coming out where their neck should be, right? And so I guess you could do like that version of a Doulahan where we get somebody to dress in knight's armor, but then put a green screen mask on, like one of these like nylon masks, like that Constance got me, that just like covers your whole face, but you can see through it. You can see through it once it's on, but you can't. You get a green one of these and put it on, and then key out just the head, and we could have like a headless knight. But then it's like, how does he talk? I don't know. He's a ghost, I guess. I don't know.
The answer, of course, is magic.
Yeah, of course. There's always like we can come up with our own our own legend. But I thought of the ghost character idea because as a girl, because I like the idea of her being kind of like a banshee. Like she's a sorrowful woman in white who just gives zero fucks because she's dead. And I just thought that would be like a kind of a sassy, funny character who can run between like sorrowful and sad to like batshit crazy and then back again.
Yeah, I don't like banshees, but that's just total prejudice on my part.
Speaking of banshees, look at this banshee.
Banshees are an aggressive fish in Phasmophobia. Just noting.
Right. Isn't there like a zombie game where like one of the zombies is called a witch, and they like cry in the corner, and you have to sneak. You have to like sneak around them because if they wake up, they're fucked. Like they're like one of the strongest monsters in the game, so you have to like sneak around them because you don't want to fucking wake them up. Because if they wake up, they come at you and you're fucked. You're fucking dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of my buddies likes playing zombie games, and I remember being at his house and seeing that. And it was like he like turned the corner, and you just hear, and he's like, "Oh shit," and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "I'm dead."
Yeah, that's stressful.
You didn't even see anything yet. It was just like a dark hallway. He's like, "I know she's there," and I was like,
Yeah,
"What's
because you
there?"
can hear her crying, I think.
You can hear her crying. And he's like trying to take it slow, but it's like a real tight corner. And he turns the corner and he bumps right into her and she's crying. It's like, oh shit. But yeah, anyway, I did get an offer from a friend, and I'll have to talk to you guys like off stream, but he said he would be willing to at least fill in on like mini quests because you don't need health bars. And he can come on if you don't have like enough people, as more of like a guest. Like maybe we should entertain the idea of getting one or two kind of backups, because I know right now Rat, aka Penagast, has a lot of obligations, and I know that we have quite a few cast members that have jobs, and you guys have been hit with like overtimes and things like that, and maybe we should entertain the idea of at least bringing on some temps that can fill in from time to time, so we can do more shows.
Yeah, strictly speaking, as people term for a show, we're solid. Mind you, in the Smoking Rat's defense, they were last Monday. It went pretty well, I think.
Yeah, sure.
It might be that.
But you never know. We could bring on the right if we pick the right people who really want to do the show with us now and again. And they become really popular, like side characters. They could always slide into a more permanent spot, because if we bring on more people, we might even be able to do more shows a week without breaking up everybody's schedule and forcing everybody to work so much. Because I know we tried 3 shows a week one time. I think it was back, was it 2 years ago?
2019.
Yeah, and it was like exhausting.
3 years ago. Can you believe it?
Jeez. No.
Been doing side quest a while. But anyway, I didn't see in the chat whether or not people said they like the new show, the new rules, the new items they can buy instead of just attacks, you know? I did that because I kind of got tired of trying to come up with new insults. Like, we've been doing this 7 seasons, or at least I have. And it's like, I don't know how many more insults I could possibly come up with after 7 years of doing this shit, right? So it was like a refresh, you know?
Everybody's just yelling at each other and being silly in the chat. They learned well from us.
Right.
Well done. We've taught you well.
I did see a Streamlabs come in. I think it was like $1.
Yeah. What was it? God damn it. Fucking refresh. There you go. Anthem donated $1 to say, I still say you need to do the magic shop like the restaurant from another world, random doors in different places, open up at certain times, and people can come and see. That way you can just edit things together and use random people.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that without a whole lot of production value and green screens and stuff.
And then Gex donated $10 to say, new formatting is great, more of it.
Okay, well, I mean,
Yay!
It seems to be popular. We just haven't been able to get on track with keeping the shows going without personal life stuff getting in the way. But we are sorry about that. But shit happens.
And we're doing our best here. Strictly speaking, every mini quest, absolutely. I know we're dabbling with faint praise. Absolutely beats dead air.
Yeah, sure. And I like mini quests because it's simplified. It's only an hour. We have fun with our little items, but there's no health bar, so we can just kind of perform without worrying about dying constantly. Because we don't need health bars if it's only an hour, okay? Because a lot of times for us cast members, I don't know if the audience has caught on to this, but for a lot of us, dying is like a little 2-minute break, and it's sometimes necessary in a 2-hour show. Just kind of take a break for a minute, grab a drink, go go pee or something,
It has never been sought for this purpose, for the record.
But I like the idea of the ghost because I like the idea of her being like the Lady of Ipswich, and she died 100 years ago, and she's been haunting the Witchmore ever since. And I don't know. That's just the character I came up with personally. I know we already have more women on the show than men, but that's just the character I came up with. I'm open to other ideas, though.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do.
Not in practice.
Anthem just donated another $1 to say, yeah, that was kind of the, he puts it in quotation marks. Oh, wait, no, that's Streamlabs, I'm sorry. He says, yeah, that was kind of the point I was making, just to have someone stand in front of the green screen. You fell in the background. You can use whatever characters, a volunteer, a 10-minute sketch, and I'm here to sell you this. Oh, I'm sorry. It's so tiny sometimes. It's hard for me to read. Let me reread that. Yeah, that was kind of the point I was making, to have someone stand in front of the green screen. You fell in the background, and you can use whatever characters. The volunteer, a 10-minute sketch of I'm here to sell this. I'm here to sell this. Tell this. Fuck you. Get out of my. And that was it. I'm sorry. I might have misread that, butchered that, but that's. I didn't quite understand.
I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying. He's basically saying I should do more stuff in the shop and try to do like skits. But the problem is, everybody I invite on the show would have to have green screen, and not everybody has green screen. It'd be very expensive for me to buy green screens for everybody and have them shoot it perfectly to where it lines up with my shop. Unless they can physically come here to Arkansas and film in my shop, it'd be very difficult. Ark, we can't hear you.
No, I wasn't actually vocalizing.
Oh.
You just took yourself off. You had me miming into the camera, and it's an awkward moment, and it's your fault.
Anyway. Anthem says in the chat that he's using talk to text. That's probably why it was difficult to read.
Just type it out.
Yeah, it's not his fault. It's my fault too. I was mumming the camera. No one forced me to do that. I did it bad.
Yeah, I mean, once I get the heat and air unit installed in the shop, I'm going to be filming out there more often, even if it's just like the regular daily videos, because I want to use the shop. I put so much work into it, money and time, and I own it now, thanks to the little fundraising thing I did. I own it, so no more monthly payments on that son of a bitch. And so I want to start utilizing, but I got to get the heat and air unit installed this spring. I'm probably going to try to do that next month before it gets too hot, I will be, real quick announcement though, guys. I know this is a ways away, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys this so maybe Ark can prepare.
Wait, what?
But
that's a little ominous.
But the end of May, the 27th, Friday, is that last weekend in May, the 28th and the 29th, is Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day is the 30th. I'm going out of town on Friday, the 27th. So I won't be able to do a show. So just letting you guys know ahead of time, a month ahead of time, that I will be going away on Memorial Day weekend to go visit some friends in Oklahoma. They're some old military friends of mine that I haven't seen in a while. So that Friday, the 27th, will have to either be canceled or Ark might have to run a show if he wants to. But I know Memorial Day weekend's a big weekend for a lot of people, so it might be better to go ahead and cancel. I don't know. It's up to you guys.
So long as we have one other person, I will run at least a mini quest.
Yeah, if you can get at least one other person, run a mini quest. Yeah. I'm just letting you know I won't be able to do anything. I'll be on the road.
This is true in all contexts, really. Yeah, I'm on record as being the weirdo who pushes for shows in all contexts. So, like one of the person, we'll do a mini quest. And I shall know that I'm being very honest because no one can argue I'm a weirdo.
No, yeah, we all know that. We've spent years knowing that.
The sky blue.
Indeed.
Did it decide to turn pink today? Or magenta?
I'm in
No.
grayscale. You're a sucker.
Your mom's a whore.
But anyway, yeah, I was afraid to ask other people to join the show because the bigger the cast too, the more potential drama, the more, financial obligations and all that stuff. But then once I thought about it, it's like they only get paid for the shows they're on. That's the same with all of us. So it wouldn't really eat into our profits. If you have to miss a show, you're not getting paid anyway.
That's a good point.
So, I mean, now that I think about it, it might be good to have at least one or two possible stand-ins, substitutes. Maybe they're not regular characters, but I don't want to invite too many people to join us unless we plan on starting a third show during the week, because it wouldn't be fair to ask somebody to come join the show and then they only do one show a month because everybody starts showing up,
I don't know. I guess it depends on what any hypothetical new member is comfortable with. Some people might be happy doing it just once a month to be on the show. I don't know.
That's true. I can ask around.
A lot of people it's a whole what's it called? The shyness you get before you perform.
Yeah, stage fright.
Stage fright, yeah. But
That's true.
Strictly speaking, even if it's only once a month, that's one other person I can guarantee a mini quest.
I'm sorry that if that ear raped anybody, that was my Amber Alert going off. I'm
I
so
didn't hear
sorry.
anything.
Oh, you did it?
No.
Yeah, your mic probably cut it out because it went too high.
Yeah, it's if you guys did hear it, I'm sorry. Fucking Amber Alert went off.
Well, F's
If
in
I
chat for
had
that
heard it.
kid, I guess.
If I had heard it, I just want you to know, I, in my infinite well of understanding, would have forgiven you. These things happen, and no one understands technical difficulties better than I.
My phone doesn't care about children or me. It's supposed to go off for Amber Alerts and tornadoes, like tornado warnings. It's supposed to, go up to full volume and brightness, and it just decided it doesn't like me anymore and it won't do it. So.
I'm weirdly offended that Google skipped me for that.
Yeah,
That's-
my friends, I see a lot of people in the chat arguing about Oklahoma. I'm like, my friends didn't choose to live there. They were stationed there. My buddy's still in the military. He didn't have a choice. Because in the military, they tell you where to go. And you go there. So,
I was unaware that there was heated Oklahoma discourse going on in present day culture.
Where all the Native Americans live. So Oklahoma.
yeah, there's
It's not an Amber Alert, it's missing cop. That's actually pretty funny, easy. That's
No, that's.
Okay.
I mean, it
I
was
should know
a
that.
missing cop. That was
That's-
exactly what it was. If you have the
cool,
same one I
Sam.
do, it was a missing cop.
hopefully they're a good cop, but if they're a bad cop, the fact they overrode Amber Alerts for meant for missing children is
No,
that has
it was
couple implications.
it was called a blue code or something. I don't know. It went off though.
Oh, okay. Song's proper legal.
Wendigo donated $5 to say, "This is my first season catching side quests, and I've been wowed and very entertained. I'm really digging the format, and y'all are fantastic." Well, thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here and supporting us. I really enjoy doing the show, but it can be very exhausting. And I know that's true with everybody on cast. It can be very, very daunting. But I have a lot of fun with it. So, because we're all in performance mode. On side
Okay,
quests.
that's awfully rich for you to say, but basically Wendigo has spent almost his entire donating career tormenting the hell of Arcturus. Mostly making him praise Poe Longbone, and I know what people are expecting in this very moment right now. I just want to say, Wendigo, thank you. I hate that guy too. And I'm so pleased to see every single time he nearly chokes to death on Poe's longbow.
Lord Gex in the chat says that Amber Alert now includes the dangers to shitting in your bed.
Oh my god.
Don't even get me started on that fucking shit.
Well,
dude, it's so entertaining. Like it's.
I've been watching the hell out of it while doing artwork because it can just play in the background. I can listen while I'm like painting, and I've been doing a lot of paintings. I painted Count Dankula the other day, and Razor Fist. I did a portrait of him too. But I've been listening to it. It's fucking crazy. Like it's fucking crazy. Like if the jury doesn't come back, at least with the idea that she's a crazy bitch, I would be very surprised.
It's really hard to like not come to that conclusion. Even if you want to be like as non-biased as possible, it's like everyone that's been on his side has said no, he wouldn't harm a fly, and then like everyone else is like, oh yeah, she's a crazy bitch. And also he's missing a fucking finger.
Yeah.
Like holy shit.
You also have to keep in mind though too, right now it's all their side. It's all Johnny Depp's side right now, like all the witnesses and stuff. So of course it's going to go. Like Amber hasn't had her chance yet. The defense hasn't gone yet. They haven't even introduced any of their evidence. So it's going to be like
right.
It's going to be like a sick. Yeah.
Will not object himself when it's defense business.
The number of meaningful moments in this trial are just unreal. Like the stuff that's happening in this trial doesn't actually happen. You know, like. Ever, and it's genuinely, you know, happening unscripted. It's beautiful.
Well, like it's just because Johnny's so like charming and funny that he's literally causing people in the court to like laugh to where like the
judge is like, yeah,
you need to stop laughing because that causes disruption in the court, or else I'll kick you out.
Yeah, but
there's that. But it also really helps the lawyers dumb enough to object to themselves.
Yeah,
she's not a very good judge in my opinion. Like other judges, every time they object to the same old shit over and over again,
they call
other judges would have been like, "Sit down, counselor." like I'm getting tired of you objecting to every little fucking thing. It's not a leading question. It's a yes or no question. That's not leading. Shut up. Sit down.
Objection. Hearsay.
You know, it's like things like that. And then there's also the long drawn out like video testimonies.
Oh, they're agonizing.
And it's like they keep asking the same questions over and over again, hoping the answers change. And if I was the judge, I would have been like, let's speed it up, cut all this out.
Yeah,
let's speed it up, get to the point.
Yeah. Asked and answered like 50
Asked and
times.
answered 50 fucking times. Like, hello.
Yeah.
How many times did like Emperor's team ask like those poor cops, like, hey, did you guys see any marks? And it was like, I think they asked that 10 times, like each person. They're like, no, she was crying, but like that's not means like she was being abused.
She was sitting in the shadows drinking a latte. Like I didn't think she was dying, so I left. I'm sorry. You know, like I have other shit to do. I'm a cop in LA. Do you know how hard my job is?
Well, it's also like like how many battery cases do they have to deal with like every day? Like how many times like they have domestic abuse calls like every day they have to deal with? And they're asking them like, do you remember what Amber wore on this day? It's like, motherfucker. I can barely remember what I ate for breakfast like yesterday. You want to ask me what some woman was wearing like 6 years ago?
Did you guys see like the door guy's deposition? The one who like did his deposition in his car.
And he just drove off at the end. He was
so
like,
good.
He's like, fuck these people. I got a job to do. You people are interrupting my day, you know? Like, I love
it's
that
also
guy.
like he's like was a front desk manager thing. He rarely sees people coming in and out, let alone like the high profile guests. Like he's around probably organizing everything, making sure payments are due. No one sketchy's coming in, like stuff like that.
Plus this is also like testimony of like years and years ago. You know how people's memories are shit. You know that, right? Like
that all happened during their marriage, and they got divorced in 2016, right? So this is stuff that happened in like 2015-ish or during their engagement.
I hated yesterday because that one Amber Heard lawyer was up on like interviewing that one guy, and he was all like
Scottish guy.
No,
not Count Dankula.
No, the other one, the security guy, the black guy. And he was all like, you testified at the UK trial that Amber Heard went partying with her friends, and he's all like, well, wouldn't you want to go blow off some steam if your husband beat you? And I'm like, why didn't they object?
Ridiculous.
Why didn't they object to that?
Yeah.
Like, why did? Like, I if I was the judge, I would have fucking objected. I would have been like, whoa.
Yeah, what does that have to do with anything?
The poor security guy, or like the driver, I think that's what he mostly did, was driving people around, was like, he's the one who found the fucking turd on the bed too. He had to...
Yeah, the guy who found the turd is the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I want to object because I understand that officially we want to not talk about the Amber Heard trial versus Johnny Depp, although Team Johnny Depp, for the record, someone said that you need to be careful not to paint Styx, Hex, and Hammer when you're trying to paint Razor Fist, but I know you would never, ever do that because Styx, Hex, and Hammer is a golden god by comparison, and I'm only saying that because Razor Fist blocked me on Twitter for arguing that he shouldn't block casually having blocked him on Twitter.
I do like
I know
Styx.
what I said, and I mean it.
I like Styx, and Razor Fist is okay. I guess if there's any political commentary, people they're like closest to my own opinion, they would be it. I don't really have a problem with either one of them.
I just painted them because I'm painting YouTubers right now, and it was kind of cool to paint his glasses.
Look, I'm not
people think too much into that kind of thing.
Razor Fist, they are, not me. They are.
Well, there's also I don't care if you like him or hate him. I painted him Big Whoop. I painted Count Dracula, and a lot of people hate him too.
Well, I don't. Count Dracula has never blocked me for telling him that maybe he should not block so casually. Count Dracula is awesome, and furthermore, I owe him a debt of gratitude for informing me about Mad Surgeon. Egads, that man was a profoundly beneficial influence on medical history.
Yeah, that was such a good one.
Yeah, I still don't understand why people still hate him to this day. It's not like he does overtly political content. He does Mad Lads and like historical figures. It's like he does these really great like retrospectives. They're
actually like really educational. It's actually educational content. He has like a team of people to help him out with researching.
He's tricked people into caring about history. He's like tricked us all into like taking a history class that we think is entertainment on YouTube. You know?
I loved his Rasputin one. It's like
I want to stress actually. Oh wow, yeah, that's a weird one on himself. But so to say, I would say Count Dracula is basically the gold standard in this context.
Yeah.
Anthem donated another $1 to say, "Hey, just to be evil, one of all." Wait. Hey, just to be evil, one of all. Wait. Hey, just to be evil, one of you all like to look up the Duluth model.
The Duluth model?
The Duluth model? Yeah.
I forget what that is. Am I going to get put on a list? No, fine, whatever.
No, this actually feels like smart guy bait, and I'm not going to fall for it. I'm an idiot.
Duluth model is a program developed to reduce domestic violence against women. It's named after Duluth, Minnesota.
Oh, Duluth, Minnesota. Okay, yeah, I know what that is now. Yeah.
Spooky Weebtrash is a smart guy.
But
that makes one of us.
Sorry we got off on a tangent on the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. It is just kind of fascinating. I know that there's more important things going on in the world. I know whose side I'm on, and that's saying something, considering that it's not like I'm simping for Johnny Depp. We are talking about the guy who, when Trump was in office,
he made a joke about assassinations.
It's like, when's the last time an actor tried to assassinate a president? It's like, come on, man. At least he walked those comments back. At least he apologized.
I mean, like, the thing is like, I think he did that mostly to appease, like, weird LA buddies of his. This is all me just conspirizing, because, like, if you ever, like, they go through those text messages and listen to how he talks. Like, he's clearly, like, you can tell he's an almost 60-year-old man that's out of touch with, like, this, like, social justice narrative, if you want to talk, or leftist narrative, because he has to be extra careful about what he says, and what he said back in like 10 years ago is definitely not what's politically correct nowadays.
Yeah,
but I don't think he actually gives a shit about that kind of thing.
Yeah, like the way he talks is just super dark and facetious humor.
you hang out with Hunter S. Thompson. Like, you ever like listen to a Hunter S. Thompson video? Like, he's saying the N-word. He's like saying like all these different like radical things all in one go. Like,
he's also really good friends with Marilyn Manson. I mean, come on.
Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's just like it's like a pop culture thing, but I think it is important. You know, I think him deciding to sue her for defamation and him actually taking the stand and sticking up for himself is like, this is the, I think, most high profile case that kind of argues that men can be victims of domestic violence, and the Me Too movement is used for malicious purposes all the time. You know, I think it's a really good thing that this trial is happening somewhere where it can actually be publicized.
I mean, like I tweeted out like when this first happened, when the first day of the trial, when they were going over the article, I tweeted out, this reminds me verbatim of like what Zoe Quinn made her accusation against the guy named Hala Huaka who killed himself over this shit. I was like, it's almost scary, like how similar it was. And of course, Amber's was before Zoe, so I had to wonder who influenced what. But like it was like verbatim, almost sounded exactly the same, of like blaming men in power, of like you being the cause, like why all these things, and I couldn't speak up, and then it turns out that they're greedy, they're manipulative, they've caused men to do harm to themselves and to other people. Like,
yeah, there's
like,
you also have to understand, like, Johnny Depp has been famous since he was 20 years old. He hasn't had a normal life. And so
But my point right now is that, strictly speaking, Spooky Weebtrash makes an excellent point. There's a huge corollary here, and this hits me on a personal level because I thought that once Zoe Quinn's narrative fell apart, that the so-called patriarchy would throw into her boss, she'd be destroyed, and I'd feel bad for her. But no, she went on. She got a kill count, and is still doing pretty well, near as I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amber Heard's the Jussie Smollett of the Me Too movement.
Yes.
We can hope.
She got caught in a fucking lie. Like, she wanted to be the ambassador of the
well, like, that's why she like wanted
movement.
to funnel so much money into the ACLU, and it turns out that $500,000 of it was not even her own money. It was through fucking Elon Musk, who she was sucking his dick behind the scenes, and that's where that money came from, because she didn't want to pay alimony, and where she got like the money from their divorce, but she didn't want to pay the actual money, so she got other dudes who was sucking their dicks to pay for her.
Yeah.
So she would have to actually pay the $500,000 she kept for herself. Like, she's evil. Like, she's actually a fucking evil person.
Yeah, legitimately.
Not just her, Spooky Weebtrash. This entire past decade has been a very painful one of just one disillusionment after another regarding foundational things I thought were to be relied upon, like anti-defamation, ACLU.
Can we take a moment, speaking of Elon Musk, to talk about Elon Musk buying Twitter? And how many people are really, really upset over it? Like, they are like, I've seen tweets from people on the like cultural left, like cancel cultural left, that just years ago were like, it's a private company, they can kick Donald Trump off if they fucking want. Now they're turned around going, people are going to die.
Yeah.
Like, people are going to die. Like, black people and trans people are going to be murdered because Elon Musk bought Twitter. And it's like, holy shit.
My favorite part was these blue check marks, like the journalist type, like just like they deactivated their account for a whole 24 hours before they came back because they're totally addicted to Twitter. I love Twitter too, like the next guy, but come on, at least I get to it.
Yeah, Sean King made it like 10 hours and he couldn't take the lack of attention and came back.
Did you hear his reason for it? He turned it off for 70 hours because the January 6th insurrectionists that were, languishing in solitary for the past year or more, totally threatened him. So we had to deactivate it for a while.
This is a perfect chance for people who love to play victim to play victim.
Please do. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Did you see the tweet today? Elon Musk did? Like, AOC came out on Twitter, was all like talking about how dangerous it's going to be on Twitter from here on out now that a billionaire owns it. And he tweeted, like, quit flirting with me. I'm actually really shy.
And once again, thank you for changing this to a positive topic, because I have to say, the sheer absolute neurotic meltdown from people who haven't seen any changes, any objective changes whatsoever, pissing themselves, has been a wellspring of hope and good cheer for me.
Well, honestly, I've been using Twitter lately just to, like, share my videos and my art. I've stopped arguing with trolls on Twitter. I've stopped having political discourse because it's just so nerve-wracking. And then I kept getting put in Twitter jail, getting like 12-hour suspensions and shit because I would say things like retarded. Like, I would say the word retarded, and it wasn't even to a person. I'd be like, that's fucking retarded. I'm talking about like an object or like a movie. Like, it's not, I'm not even like, but just saying the word will get you like a 12-hour suspension.
Yeah.
And so I kind of stopped using Twitter now, like, except to promote my videos and my art. Now I'm thinking, if Elon makes the changes he said he's going to make, I'm going to stay on Twitter. Man, it could be a good place to grow.
Yeah, I would give it a minute though, because it takes, like, when these huge deals can take several months, almost up to a year to fully be implicated, because it takes like the whole Congress to be like, okay, why is $44 billion being switched over all of a sudden? Is this ethical?
That's not entirely true. Okay. Now,
Project Veritas has released hours of a Twitter board whinging over this and stressing that, we can draw this out for at least 6 months. And that's to be expected, because they're
but that might not actually. But you got to understand, that's not probably like okay, it might take months for
to say the N word
for
any consequences.
It might take months for it to actually become a private company, because that's what Elon wants to do. He wants to pull it off the stock market, no longer publicly traded, no more board of directors. He's going to be king, right? But at the same time, even though that might take months, people are already noticing changes, because it seems like before Elon Musk even got there, Twitter's like, oh shit, change everything back before he gets here, because he's afraid he's going to open it up and show everybody all the shit they've been doing. And so they're actually making the changes now in the hopes that he doesn't notice all the shit they've been up to.
Twitter, honestly, I have no idea if Twitter changed anything at all whatsoever, or we're just seeing the metrics of the news that he owns it ultimately, and hopeful reality that he shares all the shit they've been up to.
No, there's like objective, like, proof. Like, there are people who've had their accounts suspended for years are suddenly back.
That's the one thing. I know like a dozen people who got their accounts back, who have appealed and appealed and appealed their bans, and they were just ignored. Now they're getting them back.
Yeah, now all of a sudden Twitter's like, new boss is coming. Give everybody their accounts back.
On that note, Elon Musk got a lot of shit for saying that he was going to verify everyone who was actual human, not a bot. There was a lot of knee-jerk reaction to this.
Am I the only one who can't hear him?
I can hear.
Apparently, you're very quiet.
Hello.
Very quiet, Art.
Maybe a tiny bit quieter than that.
Press this so that there's no concern here.
Okay.
Am I being heard now?
Yeah.
Good.
Hear him?
Then I will deliver this point in this context, as absurd as it is. Yeah. Look, there's a lot of knee-jerk reaction that Elon Musk is going to rip away everyone's privacy by making sure everyone is a human, not a bot. My high hope is that he actually just gives blue check marks to anyone who is inclined to prove they're human to Twitter as they're inclined to view it. That alone, just that much, wee bit much, make the check marks work as Twitter said it was supposed to work, would be hilarious.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah. My Bluetooth headset disconnected for some reason. And it's back.
Hello.
It reconnected. I totally lost sound for a minute there.
I did notice like a huge growth in like the actual Twitter platform. Like I was like looking at his follower account, Elon's. I swear I blinked. One day it was 43 million. The next it was like 88 million. So I think it's more than double the amount of accounts that have been made.
Yeah.
People coming on.
Well, people have also been coming back that left voluntarily. because
Mom
they got
Bug
tired.
came back.
Yeah, they got tired of all the shit, and they went to Parlor, Gab, or whatever in the hopes that that was a better place. But now they're back because it's like, and there's no proof that Elon will actually do what he says because he might change his mind, or he might implement something worse. We don't know, but it is at least like a massive change that gives some people some hope because listening to him on Joe Rogan and stuff, he is a real free speech advocate. Like real, like to the bone free speech advocate. No matter what else you think about the man and his business decisions, because I've seen people go, he's a fucking con man, I don't trust him, blah, blah, whatever. But you can't deny the fact that he's like, no, people need to be able to speak, even if it's something you don't like. We need to know everything. Like, he's
his
that
ex
guy.
is being really petty on Twitter, though.
Oh,
She's like liking tweets from like Hassan Piker, like making fun of the right and my free speech and stuff like that.
This is why I like him. He's a troll. Look, if there's any person on this planet who appreciates the value of free speech, it's a troll. I'm a troll. I'm not the same kind of troll.
You are gray.
But I think the world and humanity needs trolls. And I love trolls. It's part of free speech. You need the trolls as part of free speech.
You are really shit-eating green really close to the camera. That's how we know you're really...
Now, does that mean Twitter... Now, does that mean Elon's going to allow things like death threats on Twitter? No. There are some things... Yeah, there are some things that, even regardless of free speech, we should monitor some things.
Jeremy?
You know?
I will terribly throttle you to death. I'm very serious right now. Should this be taken as a serious threat?
I'm not talking about that. There are tweets that you can tell are genuine.
No, you can't.
Like people. Yes, you can. Okay.
No, there's one. To find out if they have access, if they knew who the person actually is.
There's like several fucking serial killers that have like made like their like proposition on Twitter. Like they put their manifest on Twitter. Like there's like clear cut examples of this.
Yeah, look,
that's the hard thing though. Like you have to.
I'm not saying they can be valid. I'm just saying you can't tell from the text.
I get what you're saying, but there's there are some clear cut cases and they need to be monitored. Like,
well, also,
but they need enough personnel to actually
investigate. Yeah, it just depends on what Elon Musk plans to do about stuff like that. Because it's like I've seen tweets where people are like dying of fire, and there's like a happy face, and it's like, okay, they're joking. That's a turn of phrase, right? But then there's some tweets I've seen where it's like, I'm going to find you and murder you in front of your fucking children, you asshole.
Well, like our friend
and it's
Cecil,
like, okay.
Our friend
and
Cecil
those don't come true either.
She got yeeted from Twitter from telling a zoophile to eat a bullet. And, that got her account yeeted. So
she was just giving a friendly and very valid suggestion.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a good healthy diet to eat a bullet.
I have a folder on my computer filled with different pictures of wood chippers just for when I come across a map. Right, like a minor attracted person on Twitter. I have like different brands too. There's like a John Deere one. There's like a Massey. There's like a DeWalt. Like I choose the wood chipper based on what I'm seeing.
Yeah, different capacities for different needs.
Is that a death threat to pedophiles?
My sole point was you can't tell fuck all from text on Twitter.
Yeah, there's a lot more context to these things. Yeah.
Sure, and I get that. I'm only bringing it up because I don't know how far it's going to go. Will Elon continually allow the policing of things like that, or will he let it be a true free speech platform where people can death threat each other and post child porn and things like that?
Ideally, you want to.
I don't think child porn's free speech. I would argue against that actually.
I would too, but some people make the argument. Now, wait a minute. That's true free speech.
There has been
literal ability to share everything.
There has been high-profile cases though of like art versus like pornography with like, and one of them being children, and also like historical. Because like you notice like whenever they're doing like documentaries about like tribal people, they're always naked, and they can show that on like public TV and not include children. Like, oh, okay, that's not technically child porn because they're just showing historical stuff. There's also been like pictures of naked children that have been quote unquote art, and they argued against this in court in front of the government and those got passed as being art. So that's like one of the big differences too.
Well, it's hard to make an argument whether or not it's a sexualized image. It's like have you ever seen the old like black and white photo of Alice Little?
No. Will I be put on the list if I do?
Yeah, no. Was it Lewis Carroll who wrote Alice in Wonderland, right?
Yeah.
He based the character of Alice from Alice in Wonderland off of a real little girl that he was friends with her family, and he would go over there for lunch, and he knew her and stuff. He knew all of them, and he actually has he took a couple pictures. Lewis Carroll took a couple pictures of Alice Little, like in their backyard or whatever. And one of them, she's got like her dress is open. She's like a child. Mm-hmm. And you can see her fucking nipple. And it's like, and then if you read about Lewis Carroll, like suddenly out of nowhere, he was good friends with that family. And then suddenly they just cut him out of their life. He stopped being invited over there. And you're sitting there going, I wonder what fucking happened. Of course, this is in the 1800s. Still, you know, there's no way to Me Too this guy, right? There's no way to, to know what really happened, right? The family, they didn't share any public stories or anything. But yeah, like read up on that. That actually happened.
Wow.
Lewis Carroll. People not know that? I should do a historical video on Lewis Carroll.
You should do historical videos on old pedophiles. That'll go like a lot of views. Probably get you monetized, but it'll get you a lot of views.
Supposedly, there are still more graphic photos that they simply won't share because they're so graphic. We don't know accordingly. And maybe one thing we can rely upon right now is he definitely crossed some lines, at least for the little family. That much is pretty plausible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and Snoopy brings up a good point. It's the 1800s. There were a lot of people that were photographed naked. And also, moral standards were different back then, too. And
also, like, child pornography was not illegal until, like, a few hundred years ago. Or, like, 100 years ago.
They didn't even know how to define it. They didn't even have a definition of pornography. It was just...
I think there was like, I was watching a case on, it was in Australia, and I forget his name. It was like Mr. something. Like Mr. Torture or something. Mr. Evil. Anyway. So he would kidnap girls and film pornography with them and then release them. But in Australia, they didn't actually have definitions of like child pornography until that case came out. And because of that, now it's illegal. But that's how recent this stuff is. And
crazy.
And now they're a prison colony again. But unrelatedly, objectively, as weird as that is. Look, my point regarding free speech right now is that and this is my very sincere view. This is bone deep. This is across any iteration you see of me. Everyone should be free to say whatever incredibly stupid thing pops into their head. Not that I agree with it. In fact, most cases, I think it's actually really dumb. But because when everyone is free to say every stupid thing pops in their head, then they can raise all the red flags they want. And investigations can be launched. And then things that are much greater crimes than just the words can be discovered.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Countless idiots across the internet think that if they punish the words themselves, they stop the crime. No, you fuckwits. You've actually protected the crime. You've helped cover it up. What's wrong with you, you loser?
Yeah.
And I can see the merits of that argument because it's when it comes to just text, but when it comes to sharing pictures, which is also speech, right? Sharing pictures, sharing art, you start getting into a muddied kind of gray area, right?
Yeah, that's true.
If we just allow the words, we'd solve so much.
Yeah.
Like allowing the words is one thing because they're just words on the screen. Like if I got on Twitter,
that includes hate speech.
I get what you're saying. Quit interrupting me, man. God damn it, I can't get a thought out.
I'll stop here. I just had to make that point.
You're getting too excited, Ark.
I get it, man.
No enthusiasm allowed.
I warned you.
Go lay down.
I warned you about the stairs, dude.
Too soon. I'm just...
Like, it's totally okay to, like... I understand because if somebody shares a thought that is, like, really bad, like, you know, like, all of this insert race here should die, then we know who those people are and we know to stay away from them, right? Like their speech allows us to identify them. But then you have the true free speech, right? Where people are like, well, now that I have true free speech, I can share this like ISIS beheading video. And it's like, who the fuck wants to see that? Right? Like yes, it is true free speech, but we should get rid of some stuff, right? Like that's on that level, right?
Ray Jacobson believes that Epstein didn't kill himself. Just throwing that out there.
I will say, I'm so fucking sick of seeing people call each other like Nazis and pedophiles. So if he brings back allowing people to call him slurs, that shit will go away. If I'm ever to call somebody an F-slur or a retard on Twitter because they're being a fucking retard, all that shit will subside. Like, the whole pedophile shit will subside because everyone is a pedophile. Everyone gets accused of it nowadays for disagreeing with somebody.
Yeah.
Over, like, free speech or something. But, like, that shit will go away if he allows people to say slurs again.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what he does with the platform now that he owns it. But imagine the world we live in, where somebody can literally just afford to buy one of the most recognizable tech platforms in the world.
Yeah,
like, he's just like, I'll give you $45 billion for it.
Yeah, he's actually creating this massive dent in things culturally right now. Like, you know, everybody's talking about this. It's very strange.
Did you see his like little like slide of hand towards Truth Social? He's like, oh, we're second the Truth Social, and they're the text-based platform. Truth Social, aka terrible name.
Yeah,
it is a terrible name. Truth Social.
I like. Probably the biggest argument I hate on Twitter right now when Elon Musk bought it is he could have solved world hunger with that $45 billion. But instead, he bought Twitter instead of solving world hunger, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because that's how that works. There's no economic issues involved. There's no corrupt governments who would definitely take all of that money and not give it to the starving children in Africa or anything.
Right.
There was an Associated Press reporter who launched a poll based upon that incredibly stupid precept, further destroying my faith in the Associated Press, relatedly. But furthermore, they don't launch these campaigns against every billionaire who buys some piece of media, do they?
No, no, they don't.
What pieces of media does Bezos own? Does anyone even know?
Oh, a little something called Amazon.
Well, no, not even that. Not just that. Oh boy. Go on, look it up, everyone. It's a homework project. You're welcome. I'm a jerk and a nerd. You should have expected this.
I hate that argument too, because if I've actually read some pretty interesting like economic papers and stuff when I was in college. And one of the ones I read was pretty interesting. Did you I didn't know this, but we have enough food for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We literally have enough food. Do you know what our problem really is? It's not food. It's getting the food to where it needs to be. That's our problem. Yeah. It's a logistics thing. It's like, okay, we can send ships and ships and ships of food to Africa to feed all these starving communities. And it wouldn't cost us all that much in relative scale, right? Because we actually have like an overabundance of food in first world countries that we could share with everybody. The problem is once it gets to port, it gets stolen, hijacked by an evil government. Warlords take it and not give it to the children. Like, it's like, that's the problem. It's not that we have a lack of food. These people are stupid because they think it's very simple. They think if you just throw money at it, it'll happen magically. And it's like...
Well, yeah, it's like they have this incredibly simplistic, almost childish idea of the world. Like, it's just baffling some of the perspectives these people have, and it's clearly because they've never actually thought about, well, why wouldn't this incredibly oversimplified idea work? When, you know, I can't have been the first person to think of this, so why hasn't it been implemented? If they just thought like two like millithoughts further, they would understand that there's obviously a reason that everybody's not just given like $1 billion or a lifetime supply of pizza or something, right. You know?
And it's also like people who set out to do good things because they have an ideology they believe will benefit the world actually end up doing more harm than good. Another example of that, I can't remember his name. Somebody can Google it for me. But there was a guy back in like the 90s who created through genetic manipulation, a grain that could grow anywhere. It could grow in a drought. Like, it literally grows anywhere. You can make bread from this grain. And it will grow. And he did it to solve hunger problems in dilapidated countries like Ethiopia. Like, Ethiopia's been in like a 90-year drought. They haven't had rain in 90 years, right? Like, it's like, well, this grain needs minimal water and can survive in the harshest conditions. But the vegans and the hippies came along and was like, no, he used evil genetics to create it and put a kibosh on him sharing it with the world. Like, we could have had this grain that grows literally anywhere and feed the world with it. And the vegans and the vegetarians and the hippies came along and was like, no, that's evil. That's not what Mother Nature intended. And
I guarantee you they had support from strange places.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. But that was a big, like, he mixed they don't even understand genetics. Like, they were like, he mixed the wheat with, like, animal genes. And it's like, you can't fucking do that. You can't, that is, like, impossible. That's, like, horror movie stuff. That's like, there's a plant monster. It's part ape, part carrot. You know, you can't do that. You can't. They're not compatible.
Like there's a difference between some like horrifying thing where you're getting into like God's going to smite you tomorrow territory, where you're like making human pig hybrids in some crazy lab, and like making a grain that grows a little more efficiently, in harsher conditions. There's kind of a difference there, I think.
Sounds like you guys are writing sci-fi fan fiction right now.
Yeah, the guy who created, I gotta Google it, because Penn and Teller did a whole episode of bullshit on this guy. He won like a Nobel Peace Prize for creating this fucking wheat that can grow anywhere. You can make bread, you can feed the world with this fucking wheat, because it literally would grow anywhere except like Antarctica. Right? Like, it's the only place it wouldn't grow, right? Is Antarctica because of the below freezing temperatures or whatever. But it's like, this shit would even, if we planted it in our country, like in places where wheat grows, like Kansas and shit, like, it could survive the winters in the Midwest and stuff. Like, we would never run out of at least bread. Like, people could eat. There would never need, even if communism took over, we wouldn't need bread lines with this fucking wheat. And they wouldn't let him give it to the world. They fucking took it from him and locked it in a box and said, no, it's evil because it was evil genetics. And they don't even realize that people have been using genetics on plants forever. You know that original corn was like this big.
Oh, right? Really?
We cultivated it over hundreds of years to be like big. Okay? Like corn back 200 years ago does not look like corn now. like apples too, things like that. Bananas are like a completely like human invention. We just started crossbreeding cross-pollinating these different plants and created bananas.
Yeah, I thought like cauliflower or broccoli or something was like that. That's probably not it, but one of those things never existed in nature ever, and what a massive staple of our diets it is now.
Yeah, it's like potatoes didn't even grow here, like in North America. They were brought over from Ireland.
And now I have potatoes growing in my cupboard because I keep forgetting they're in there.
I've got onions like trying to like sprout out everywhere. Like they're growing like roots and stuff like that.
I'm getting very guilty right now because Kaz in the chat bewailing his home, totally real nation of Australia, noting some of the produces it has. Look, Kaz, no one is arguing that's not a very productive prison colony. Strictly speaking, by being a prison colony, that its production should be off the charts is to be expected.
Dude, Australians are so based. Like, they're so, like, they casually call each other a cunt because they can. And they, like, have really, like, I don't know, they have pretty based, like, political opinions. And plus their music, too. A lot of people don't acknowledge, like, the Australian rap scene. But, like, they get to, like, really gory, like, horrific details down there about, like, more, like, Australians are edgy as fuck. I love them.
Except in the places where they allow their politicians to enact laws that don't even allow them to talk, like, say words.
I know, it's weird. Like, if you ever talk to an Australian, they're all super edgy. Like, they love, like, saying, like, radical shit. But, like, if you ever, like, listen to their government, it's like, how the hell did that happen?
Brain Shatterer in the chat says, Norman Borlaug is the creator of the super wheat. Thank you for Googling that for me. Like I said, if people are interested in, like, the whole story, you don't have to just Google it. Go watch that episode of Penn and Teller's bullshit on him. He literally won the Nobel Peace Prize, and still to this day, they won't let his wheat out in the world. Like, he can feed millions of people, and they won't let it because the vegans were pissed or something. I don't fucking know. Like, Penn
and Teller doesn't get enough, like, they don't give enough credit about, like, how much they influence modern day YouTubers. Because a lot of YouTubers were fan of, like, bullshit, and they took influence from that, like, calling people out. And I don't feel like they get enough credit on that.
Okay, they should get more credit. You're right, Spooky Weebtrash. You're absolutely right. They should get more credit. But then
he keeps calling me Spooky Weebtrash, but he just called me Spooky.
The governor of California.
You keep saying my full, like, username.
That's your title.
I'm sorry, Spooky. Egads.
I
didn't mean to cause offense by this.
It's just easier to say Spooky, man. I was just wondering.
I know, but I'm not a person who does things the easiest possible way. Have you not grasped this by now? Egads, it's been years.
I get it. You say stuff. You make stuff harder for yourself. I get it.
Constantly. I'm working hard to make things difficult for myself as possible so that I gain a great tolerance for doing difficult things and stop fucking up things when I'm not paying attention.
So it goes back to what we were talking about, though. I know I've got off on a tangent about super wheat, but that just goes back to the core argument that these people are making, that Elon Musk could have solved world hunger with his $45 billion. Even though governments spend trillions and there's still homeless people and still hunger. Yeah. And it's like, he could have solved world hunger instead of buying Twitter. And yet, our governments haven't been able to do that in hundreds of years of spending money, right? And it's like, these people are fucking morons because they don't even realize that even if he attempted to take that money and solve world hunger, they wouldn't even let the guy with super wheat save the world. Are they going to let Elon Musk just because he has $45 billion bucks? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, they're not going to let that happen.
No, of course not. Yeah. Yeah, that there are a lot of governments and organizations that would actively need that to not happen so they can keep turning a profit, you know?
People, like, starving and being in trouble is very profitable. Like, if we resolved world hunger, then where can tax exemptions come from? That kind of thing.
Charitable foundations wouldn't be able to pay their people hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to run their charitable foundations. Like, I hate these these so-called charitable foundations. That's why I don't donate to charities. I donate directly to the place I want the money to go. Like,
Children's Hospital.
Children's Hospital. Arkansas Children's Hospital saved my nephew's life. Okay, they removed a tumor from his brain and cured him of cancer. So I give to them. I give directly to them. Right? I don't give to some fucking organization.
Well, that was the other thing that was really sad about, like, the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing, because he really wanted most of that money to go to, like, children's hospitals, because he loves going to children's hospitals dressed up as Captain Jack Sparrow. Like, have you ever watched those videos of him dressed up as Captain Jack Sparrow, like, making kids happy? Like, he'll make you cry. Mm-hmm. So he wanted most of that money to go to children's hospitals, but fucking Amber Heard wanted most of it to go to the fucking ACLU.
Which is a terrible organization. It's a terrible
It didn't used to be, but it sure is now.
Yeah, it is now.
Yeah, part of the last decades of painful disillusionment. Meanwhile, Kaz, what I was saying is that Kaz is the best person in Australia. There you go. It's resolved now.
James Cawley gave $5 on Super Chats to say, let's splice goat and grass to create self-cutting lawns. We can call it emo grass.
Oh my God.
Okay. That was worth the money. I'd refund you if I could possibly be arsed.
Yeah, like Japanese plants, they would die out if it wasn't for humans pollinating.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like little bonsai trees and stuff?
Yeah, like Japanese cherry blossoms don't exist in nature. They were created over thousands of years of cultivation. If suddenly mankind, like, died out, cherry blossoms would die out.
You know what? I've been thinking about, like, if I ever do get a home, I've been seeing TikToks of people like putting clover instead of grass because clover only grows like so tall, and you rarely have to cut it. And so, like, if you have clover instead of grass, it's way more manageable and less of a hazard to
Well,
like upkeep.
clover. I have clover up here, and anywhere that clover grows, nothing else does. Clover
Yeah.
chokes out everything, right?
Yeah.
But it grows in patches. It's hard to get it to spread and become like a whole lawn. It can
Yeah.
be done, but it takes a lot of cultivation to do it.
You have to,
Jinx loves the clover patches because he lays in them and they're nice and cool.
Aw.
And he lays in
Yeah.
the clover patches because the bugs leave him alone and shit.
You have to I forget what I think is it germination that I'm thinking of, where it's like you mix like seed with like some kind of growth thing where you spread it everywhere, where it's like you spread the seed low mouth. But you spread it and it grows in a certain area, but like that's how you get
Germination is when a seed takes to the soil. That's germination. So
Yeah.
if you go outside with grass seed and you just throw it all around, wherever grass starts popping up, it's germinated.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So like people have been doing like that with clover, and it looks way more manageable. And plus, clover's so cute. Like, who doesn't like clover?
Yeah.
The problem is, once again, though, it's kind of a lie that you don't have to cut it. It depends on how you want your lawn to look. Like,
Guys,
the clover patches up here grow up past my ankles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah.
I resent that accusation. I have never vomited a mysterious red fluid in the mouth of my progeny, and I resent the implication.
Yeah. So when a seed, like, if you want to grow clover all over your yard instead of grass so that nothing else ever grows again and you don't have to mow all that often, you would still have to mow occasionally because it would just grow nuts. It would be huge fields of clover that's up to your ankles, you know. It doesn't grow much taller than that, but it's still like...
But, I mean, it's a difference between having to mow, like, once a week, like, in, like, the spring and summer, as opposed to, like, maybe, like, doing it once every couple weeks. It's a lot of difference.
Yeah. It's kind of like when people... But clover's like a flower. It actually... A lot of people don't know that, but clover patches have flowers.
I thought it was a weed.
They're little white flowers. Well, flowers can be weeds. Have you never seen wildflowers?
Yeah,
like they're just fucking weeds. Dandelions are fucking flowers, but they're fucking weeds.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
But it's just it's one of those things like I've always wanted to like plant ferns all over my forest because they'll choke out everything. I would never have to cut the forest, and I could just walk through this beautiful forest filled with ferns. The problem is they don't grow very well in Arkansas. It gets too goddamn hot. You know? James Colley gave $2. Say, let's splice clover and prostitutes. Whore clover.
Why?
Is that some like eldritch horror like you're trying to come up with? Like,
did he unintentionally suppose that being a prostitute is genetic? Like being a whore is genetic?
That's got to get kicked off some social media platform. I don't know which one.
I took that as like some weird like Elden Ring like Dark Souls thing because they have like shroom people in those games. I was like thinking of a shroom like clover prostitute, and Kaz donated 15 to say, "Love you, Bish, but you gotta drink." : P, possibly be stable. : P. I think that was towards Ark. Love you, Bish, but you gotta drink. : P. I assume. Ark's even listening.
Ark's muted right now, so he must have had to go do something. But anyway, speaking of plants, I recently planted a Japanese cherry blossom in my front yard.
Aww.
So, and Virginia cherry blossom as well. So, we'll see how they take. They're growing good right now because there's been a lot of rain, during the weeks.
They're so beautiful.
Pardon, I couldn't hear you, Kaz, with the sound of me drinking.
Says he loves you, Bish. What he said.
Brad Young says, I heard the only thing that grows well in Arkansas is ticks. He ain't lying. Jinx came in. I had to go to the vet recently. Spent $160 on Trio, I think it's called. It does heartworms, ticks, and fleas all in one, right? It's a little chewable. You got to give him once a month. I had to go get that shit because he came in the other day, and he just like rolled over. It was like sleeping on the carpet, and I looked, and he had all these dots on his belly.
Yeah.
And I like got in close, and they were all ticks. It's like, Jesus Christ, they're fucking rapid up here, man. There are ticks everywhere up here. God, it's cool. Like, I fed him that shit because I couldn't see them all, and he wouldn't hold still for me to pull them off with tweezers. So I fed him that shit, and today he just walks around the house and there's dead ticks falling off of him because the medicine gets into his blood, and then the ticks drink the blood and kills him. So I keep finding dead ticks on the couch cushions and shit. I have to fucking vacuum them up.
I ever got one stuck to you specifically? That shit's like scary, like because you don't know if it has like diseases in it or not. That's how you get Lyme disease.
There's one, Lyme disease is the big one, but there's this one tick that is predominant here in Arkansas, all through the South, called a Lone Star tick, and they can give you an allergy to red meat.
That's right.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's scary.
It happened to my old boss, man. He got bit by a Lone Star tick while he was clearing his land, and he pulled it off. You find a tick, you pull it off, and you fucking kill it with fire. Because they're hard to crush. They're not like a cockroach. You can't just step on a tick.
Yeah, you either have to flush it down the toilet or like.
I burn them with a lighter and then throw them in the drain and flush them, with water. But burn them with a lighter first so they don't crawl back up through your pipe.
Can they survive through the water?
Yes.
Ew. God, those little fuckers are indestructible.
Yeah.
Like cockroaches and ticks will survive. They're
so fucking light that they just float on the surface of the water. Like they don't drown. They don't drown.
That's why I flushed twice.
But anyway, I when I find a tick, but he pulled the tick off, and then like weeks later, he was eating a burger and went into anaphylactic shock. And
that's unreal. Absolutely unreal.
They rushed him to a hospital, and they had to what's it called when they shove the tube? They force the tube down your throat so you can breathe. Intubate.
Tracheotomy.
Yeah. But yeah, they had to do that to him because his throat closed up. And then they did the test, and they were like, "Did you get bit by a tick recently?" And he was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "You're allergic to meat now." And he was like, "What the fuck?" Like he'd been eating steaks and burgers his whole life, and now he can't eat shit. He can eat chicken and fish. That's it. That's all he can eat. He can't eat burgers anymore. He can't eat deer meat. He can't eat any. He can't eat any mammal, like red meat.
Bloodsuckers are truly the worst.
Those Lone Star ticks. And you can tell what a Lone Star tick is because they're a tick with a little white dot on their back.
I hate vampires. I know they're not real. I hate them just that much regardless. And what are ticks and fleas and so on if not real live vampires?
Now, the upside is he had a particularly bad reaction. Some people get that like allergy from a Lone Star tick. And it's
for vampires.
It's not as bad, but they still are allergic. They just break out in hives or whatever. But he had a very particularly bad one. But that being said, it does in many cases dissipate after a while, and you can go back to eating red meat. But in most cases, it takes up to 10 years.
That's unreal.
For your body to like your body to fix itself so you can eat red meat again.
Yeah, people were asking all this stuff in the chat. Brad Young asked, can he eat pork? And then Lord Gex said, can he eat ticks?
No pork.
No worry, Kaz.
Like little
vampires aren't real. You're fine.
No pork and no pork and no red meat. Like venison, steak, chicken, and fish. That's it. That's all I can eat.
If I hated people to the point where I would hate them for being fond of fictional vampires or pretending to be fictional vampires, well, actually, strictly speaking, those people probably made me hate vampires because I grew up in the golden age of the internet when role-playing was just a thing, but then Interview with the Vampire became popular, and I played countless games where absolutely everyone was playing countless variations of a vampire, less stat, less stab, less steed, and that probably had a major influence on my profound hatred for vampires.
You know, maybe.
That said, I understood even then, those people just suck and are not actually vampires. They suck in a very non-bloodletting sense.
Ezu said intubated. Tracheotomy
is when they cut you. Yeah, they
stab
cut
you.
it.
Yeah.
They have to cut into your neck and actually go in that way. But intubating is when they go in through your throat, which is less harmful than a tracheotomy. But no, I mean, I hate when Jinx brings a tick in and it jumps off of him. I'll be like sitting there watching fucking anime or painting on Photoshop, and I'll feel it coming up my leg. And I'll look down and this little black dot's moving up my leg, and I'll grab him and I'll burn him. And the rest of the night, I feel them on me. Even though they're not there, like phantom crawlers. They're like I'll be in bed.
Scary.
I'll be in bed and I'll be like, do I got another one on me? Like I'm like
Yeah, it's so scary because they can cause diseases. Like you definitely know when there's one off you because like you can probably feel a bite, like a little sore.
Well, I am particularly grossed out by ticks because of something that happened in my childhood. I was a teenager actually, I was I think 14, 15 years old, and I'm going to admit this live on air. This really happened. I'm not lying. I went played paintball with my friends, which is in the forest. We'd go out into the forest, right? Shoot each other. And I was wearing camo and everything, but you could still get ticks on you.
Yeah.
And we played for so many hours. You know, sometimes you get a tick on you and he can't find his way to your skin yet. And by the time you come in, take off all your clothes, throw them in the washing machine, go take a shower, you'll wash them off. Same with chiggers. They wash off very quickly until they bite you, right? And then they latch on and they stay there, right? Well, I got home after hours and hours, and I got out of my clothes to hop in the shower, and there was a tick on my dick. And it had bit me.
Oh.
It was dug in on the shaft of my cock. Like right near the head of my dick. Right on the shaft.
Hold on. Wait.
This really happened.
Bullshit. Both Chatmort and Spooky went ooh and as if they had one.
No, it sounds painful. What the fuck?
I'm capable of empathy sometimes.
Like if I had a story where I'm like, there was a tick on my pussy lip that I had to rip off. Like
I would cringe still. I don't have a pussy lip, but I go, But anyway, I grabbed some tweezers and I pulled the son of a bitch off, right? And I pulled a little too hard. I didn't work him out, and his head broke off in my skin. So the head was still in there. I had his body, and it swole up like a fucking Coke can.
And then it was a nightmare because you're like trying to find ticks for the rest of your life every time you've got a date.
For a week now, I was a young teenager, so I had just discovered my penis. Really, honestly. I even attempted to watch porn to get a hard on to drown that motherfucker. Like I'm gonna flood blood into the tick.
That's not how it works.
That was a joke. I didn't do that. But anyway, I pulled the tick off and it swole up. And my body eventually worked the head out, right? But it itched so bad. Like, you ever get a tick bite? It's like, ugh! I kept putting, like, creams on it. It swole up, like, and not in a good way. Not like in a, like, the whole dick swole up, and I was like, hell yeah, I got a big dick now. No, it was like the Elephant Man.
It was like an injury, yeah.
It was like the Elephant Man. Like, one side of my dick was all, like, cauliflower. Like, it was like the right side of the shaft of my dick looked like cauliflower. And it was like, it was weeks before it healed. Like, even putting creams on it and everything.
Hold on.
Ever since then, if I fucking think I have a tick crawling on me, I freak the fuck out. It's like a complex with me. Because that was some pain I never want to go through again.
Okay, I recently called out both Spooky and Chatmore. You can't see my reaction because my reaction isn't vocal. It's just...
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that does sound extremely painful. Also, I feel like if I was in your situation, I'd freak out. Like, oh, is this what my dick's gonna look like for the rest of my life? I have to deal with this shit. Like, I'd be worried about that too.
Here's what's worse: being a 14-year-old teenage boy, I was too embarrassed to tell
To
anybody.
ask.
Yeah.
So I just took care of it myself. I didn't ask to go to the doctor. I didn't go to my mom and be like, "Mom, my dick is swole." Like, I was too embarrassed, so I just dealt with it. And it took, like, I just went to the store and bought, like, triple antibiotic anti-itch creams and stuff like that, and would just constantly put, but it sucked, too, because I was still in high school, and I'm sitting there in math class, and I'm like, I could scratch my dick, but I can't, there's girls here, you know, like, it was a nightmare. It was
Worse to deal with a
nightmare.
boner too.
That's like an Outer Limits episode. That's like hell.
Unreality. Death clock. Woo!
Yeah, it's like, man, and I did have those thoughts where it was like, because I was a young teenage boy and there was no internet yet. I mean, we had dial-up, but it wasn't like I could get on WebMD and be like, dick bite on my dick, you know, tick bite on my dick. What do I do, you know? Like, and so I was sitting there, I was like, is this how my life ends? Is this how my dick's going to always look? Like, luckily the swelling did go down after about 2 or 3 days, but it itched for weeks. It was awful. I had this sore. Man, it sucked.
The multi was in your Google search history.
Porn and how to get ticks off my dick. That's a very
The only thing that was comparable to that was one time when I was in the military, I came home for 30 days to visit with my family. I took vacation, flew home from England, and I took, because in the military you can save up to like 60 days of vacation before you start to lose it. Like you're only allowed to have 60 days, right? So I took 30 days because I figured if I'm going to pay for a plane ticket to fly home across the ocean, I'm not going to do it for like a week. I'm going to go home for a while, right? And I came home for 30 days, and I remember literally like the day before or 2 days before I was supposed to go back to England, I went and visited with my brother, and I was playing football with the kids, with my nephews, in his backyard, and he hadn't cut the grass. And I was rolling around with my nephews and throwing the football, and we were playing catch and tackling each other. You know, shit you do with kids. And I got chiggers all on my legs.
Oh, God.
And every one of them had at me, man. Like, I had hundreds of little chigger bites all over my legs. Look like chicken pox. And they form little sores with a little white, they look like pimples. And then they pop and this yellow pus oozes down your leg. It's disgusting. And I had to fly home, or fly back to England, 9-hour flight, with chigger bites all on my legs. Just itching. I had jeans on, so every time I shifted, the jeans would rub against it and make it itch even more.
Oh my God.
That was comparable to the dick tick. Mm-hmm. That was comparable amount of uncomfortable to the dick tick. I honestly would rather... I don't know which one I'd rather have, but I fucking... Oh my God, it was awful. A 9-hour flight home in coach. Fucking itching like a motherfucker. I finally got back to my base, and I pulled my fucking pants off. I dropped my bags. I pulled my fucking pants off, and there was just ooze all down my legs from the little sores popping from all the little...
God.
Yeah, chiggers are fucking awful. Chiggers, I hate chiggers so much. And they're a form of tick, so I hate them all. I really do. If they had
the chiggers, is that what you're saying? I fucking hate chiggers, man. Genocide killed them all.
Bloodsuckers and vampires and the closest modern living real world equivalent.
Have you guys never had chiggers? Maybe because you don't live in the South, or maybe you just don't spend much time in the forest. They're probably not.
I've definitely have. It's either chiggers or ticks. Well, I guess like it could have been ticks, but either way, like whenever I first started dating my boyfriend, he had these 2 cats that were indoor cats, and because they were indoors at the time, his mother never thought about like getting them like medication stuff because they were really. And then something happened. We accidentally opened the door, and they were outside. And of course, when they're outside, cats love to like rub up on stuff and smell stuff and eat grass and stuff like that. And they just had like all these. I guess
She's
ticks.
maligning cats, Shedmort.
Oh,
Kill!
God.
I guess they had all these ticks, or either ticks or chiggers, like calling them, and no one else in the household woke up with sores. I did. It was just me. So I woke up with sores all over, like on my belly, on my arms, and stuff like that. It was literally just me that woke up the next day.
So now we know why.
Well,
cats hate
you know
spooky-
you have chiggers because they itch like a motherfucker, worse than mosquito bites, and they're like
wasn't
little
as bad.
they're like little red dots. Okay.
It was like little red dot. It might have been ticks.
No, because ticks latch on.
Oh,
Chigger-
then it was definitely
yeah.
chiggers. Then yeah,
Chiggers are tiny little red bugs. They're practically microscopic. You can hardly see them.
Yeah.
And if you zoom in on them on a microscope, unlike ticks latch on and they bite, and then they burrow their head in to get to the blood vessel. Chiggers actually don't have sharp enough teeth to actually go through your skin. They're so tiny, but they have this like hose-like mouth, and they secrete a fluid to the surface of the skin that turns the skin into liquid so they can drink it. But they brush off very easily. If you get chiggers on your legs or something, if you hop straight into the shower, they're all gone. They don't burrow in. They're not strong enough to burrow in like a tick. But they will leave a little red sore because they've liquefied your skin. And
it must have been. It must have been chiggers because I had them all over my body, and again, it was just me that had them all over their body. Like
Yeah.
boyfriend did it.
Why was the
neither did
cats? Spooky.
What?
You weren't just the cute cats because they didn't latch on the cat and then jump to you. So, Shadmore should destroy you.
Yeah, there was
Not her fault.
There's an old wives' tale that chiggers actually burrow into your skin, so you have to cover each sore with like nail polish remover in order to in order to suffocate them. But that's an old wives' tale. Chiggers actually aren't strong enough to do shit, but they will leave a little sore when they bite you because they liquefy your skin and drink it. If chiggers were gigantic, our world would be like a hellscape of evil.
Yeah, probably.
Like
yes.
it would.
Yeah.
But suffice to say,
Look.
like, Jeremy, the reason I don't hate chiggers that much is because they weren't dramatically glorified by Hollywood as sort of media complications with a darkly romantic framework that presents them as this sort of immortal ideal of dark romance where they go, I live forever, and it's so sad. Fuck you.
Like some of the I have no idea what you're talking about. Some of
Well, that was a self-parody, actually. I actually resent them because they're presenting themselves as a predatory tier higher than humanity, and I'm pro-humanity across the board.
Yeah, I fucking hate them. I imagine it though. Like, aren't we glad we live on a planet where a lot of these horrifying insects are really tiny?
Yes.
Like, could you imagine,
Yeah,
like, if we actually got to like another solar system and found a planet that could host life, and we find out it's just like the giant tick planet, we'd leave.
So
We'd just
glad.
fuck off, wouldn't we?
The vampires are really, really tiny.
like
I'm really happy.
the biggest vampires in the world are vampire bats. Honestly, I think
They're
Yeah.
cute though, but they're so
Those
adorable. Because they just like they'll like bite because they do it when you're sleeping, right?
Do
And, like,
you know how often a vampire bat drinks human blood?
Rarely.
Very
Mostly
rarely.
probably just like animals
It's
out in the
super
wild.
rare. Yeah, they latch onto like cow backs. Like they'll latch onto the back of a cow. They can't really get in your house. You know, like
Statistically
very few
irrelevant.
people get bit by vampire bats. Like
I have
And like
no
they're
issue
so
with
cute about it
vampire bats.
too. They'll just like nibble like on the skin and just kind of just lick on it and just kind of just like lick.
Yeah, like they shouldn't be able to make that look cute. It's weird.
Yeah.
well, that's
really
because
weird.
they have the
do.
little piggy nose and the gigantic ears. So they're kind of cute, even though they have little sharp fangs. But
As much as I
They're
hate
not-
vampires, I have no grudge against vampire bats.
that fucking there's one bat species. Like I actually love bats. I think they're really awesome. But there's
Yeah.
one species of bat that terrifies me, and it's that big fat-nosed bat. What are they called? They're called like a warthog bat or something. They have like a huge nose.
How
You guys ever
shallow.
seen that? What's that?
You
big. I'm
joke.
gonna Google it. I'm gonna
I'm
Google it.
offended.
I'm gonna bring that up on stream.
I don't know what they're called.
How dare you slight the sky puppies in this fashion? Look, I hate vampires. I would absolutely stick every last fucking one of them if they exist in reality. I'd be a serious hardcore vampire hunter. And I don't hate vampire bats or begrudging the sky puppies. Magog, you monster.
Yeah, it's not their fault they have grotesque, monstrous noses. They might be really nice.
That's what they're
call
called.
Themselves pug-nosed monster bats. They didn't call themselves vampire bats. That's on humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this bat right here. This bat right here terrifies the fuck out of me. It's called a hammerhead.
Yeah,
It's
just
called a
pull it out.
hammerhead bat. Yeah, it's
Yeah, they're
Fucking big.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, look at this son of a bitch. Like
It
that.
looks like a dog.
Yeah, that terrifies me. Like they're called a hammerhead bat, and I don't know why. They're one of the not cute bats. Like,
yeah, it looks like a really badly taxidermied squirrel yak.
yeah.
Okay, hold on. I get why you hate them on visual details, and I think I have a weird contrarian point on this. I'm not bothered by visuals. Look, there's a game called Deep Rock Galactic. They have these things called loot bugs, and you're supposed to feel bad for killing them because they make cute noises. And I will murder every last fucking one of them without the slightest hint of remorse, because that doesn't count. Also, they're ugly, so you'd also lose out there too. So,
There are some
this.
creatures that are harmless, but they just freak me out. Like here in Arkansas, living in the South, I absolutely abhor June bugs. They piss me off. They are fucking awful.
Yeah.
I hate them. They're just these little brown beetles that fly, and they're so stupid they'll just run into anything. You turn your porch light on and they come right at your face. Just bounce off of you and shit. And then they land on their back and they just go, eh. And then Jinx eats them. Crunch, crunch, crunch. And I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, that's all you hear all summer at my house, just happy crunching at the door, and I see the cats, and I'm like, gross, stop, and they're just run off crunching. They're so happy.
They're just eating June bugs.
Here's my take on this. Good job, Jinx and Chatmore's cats.
Oh, I didn't. Did I
Kill
tell you
them,
guys?
that's a service.
Consume this strength. Grow stronger.
Did I tell you guys that story about Jake when he was a little younger? He's only a little over a year old now, but last year sometime, it was in spring. No, it was in summer, and he was still a puppy. I opened up the door to call him in, and he came in, and he looked happy. His tail was wagging and everything, and I closed the door, and I turned around, and I was like, "Did you go outside? Did you poopies?" And then I turned around, and all I heard,
25, don't dox me. Don't
all
dox me.
all I heard was a muffled bzzz, and I turned around, and he just went, bah. And when he opened his mouth, a cicada came out of his mouth and just started bouncing around the whole fucking house. Giant fly. Cicadas look like giant flies.
Yeah.
He didn't kill it.
God
He just
damn
had it in its mouth.
Do your food.
Yeah.
You bitch.
Those hammer-headed bats, they look like the Jersey Devil, and that's probably why you're so freaked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jersey Devil's a urban legend, yeah. But yeah, they have that freaky look, about them. They're just now the other biggest bats in the world are those sky puppies, like
They're
from
cute.
Australia and shit. Like they're adorable because they look like actual dogs with wings.
Yeah.
Like they eat fruit. They're fruit bats. They don't even eat.
There's a couple ladies, they're like older ladies I watch on YouTube who are like fruit bat rescuers who live in Australia, and they'll film themselves like feeding the puppies, sky puppies, and like helping rescue them and stuff like that. So I like watching stuff like that too.
Did you guys see I tweeted out that Jinx found a little baby rabbit and brought it to
Yes.
me?
Yeah.
It hadn't even opened its eyes yet. It was barely covered in any fur. And it was weird because I was outside with him. It wasn't even like I wasn't watching him. I was throwing his tire. And I threw his fucking tire and he chases after it. And the tire bounced and kind of curved around the back of the house. And he ran after it. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, he always brings it back. And he didn't come back. And I was sitting there and I was like, where is Jinx at? And then he come back around the house. I was like, oh, there he is. I wonder what he was doing. And as he comes around the house, he's got this thing in his mouth. And he's carrying it like a mama carries puppies. Like by the nape of the neck. And its legs are just... Like, it's helpless. It's fucking helpless. He has it by the nape of the neck. And he's just running at me. And he gets right up on me and goes, right at my feet. And it's sitting there, like, twitching. And I was like, what the fuck is... At first I thought it was a mouse. It was so small. I thought it was a mouse. Then I saw its ears. And I realized it was a baby bunny. And I picked it up, and it literally fit in the palm of my hand. It's so tiny. You guys saw the video, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. To be fair, Magog, you shouldn't feel bad about this. Look, some creatures, for whatever inevitable reason, we don't know if there's a creator god or not. We don't know. But some creatures are just too fucking neurotic to live, and bunnies, especially baby bunnies, absolutely qualify at this point. They will go batshit insane and die if the wallpaper color is wrong.
I don't know, man. One of my friends had a pet rabbit when he was younger. That fucking thing was smart.
Where did you get it from? Again,
it was one of them big. What are they called? Them big floppy-eared bunnies that their ears don't stand up.
Lop-eared.
Yeah, they drag the fucking ground. These ears, right?
Not all species are the same. I'm sure there are some variations that are not that stupid, but there are some, and it could be the one that Jinx ate. If you want to argue against your own...
Well, he didn't kill it. It was still alive. I had to take it back to the woods, and I found out where he dropped his tire. He must have went after the tire, grabbed it, heard the baby rabbit, and went to the woods, dropped his tire on the way, and went to the woods and brought this baby back. So I went to where his tire was, and I just found like a nice bed of pine needles and put him down. And it was like, I hope his mom come and got him.
Honestly, I'm mostly surprised it didn't die of stress and that alone.
Well, its eyes weren't even open, so it probably didn't even understand that a potential predator even had it.
Wow. When you put it back in nature, then nature absolutely fucked it over. Probably, not necessarily. Maybe angels descended and saved it.
I probably would have give it to a wildlife rescue center to see.
One, we don't have any in my area.
Yeah,
I would have had to drive all the way to Little Rock. And two, even if we had one, they wouldn't give a shit about a rabbit. You know why? Because rabbits are fucking everywhere. Okay, they are fine. They breed like crazy. They're fine.
I was trying to solve your own hypothetical concern at this point. I actually totally get all of that. And look, if you don't believe in angels, that's on you.
I get that. I get that you guys would find a baby rabbit and you'd try to find somebody to take care of it and nurse it and release it back in the wild. But here out in the country, nature is a bitch, and sometimes you just gotta let things go. Nobody's gonna take that rabbit. If I'd taken it to the shelter, they'd be like, "What do you want me to do with this? It's a wild rabbit. It's not even."
If you ever listened to me, you would know I actually said this before. You stressed that you do the exact same thing that I would do.
Yeah.
Plus,
and wild rabbits are impossible to take care of babies. Almost every kind of substitute milk you could give them gives them excruciating stomach problems that will probably kill them. If you give them cow's milk, if you give them replacement cat's milk, taking care of a baby bunny is a wild one. It doesn't go well. It's more humane to just let them, be in the wild.
It's like the difference between a wild rat and a lab rat you buy for a pet, a pet rat.
A pet rat, and pet rats are fantastic, and I love pet rats, and I've got nothing. I miss all the pet rats that have played a part in my life.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, baby bunnies in bad situations dovetail almost perfectly with baby squirrels who fall out of trees. Of course,
there's nothing you can do. I found baby birds on my land that fallen out of the nest, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
There's just
trying to say
you want to take care of them because they're a baby, but you can't do anything. That's nature. That's nature.
They don't understand. They really don't.
I used to work my first job when I was 16 years old. After I'd get out of school, I'd go to work at PetSmart. My first job, and our shirts had the PetSmart logo on the pocket. And our store sold the female rats because the Little Rock store, the West Little Rock store, sold the males. You have to keep them apart. You can't sell the males and females together. It'll be overrun with rats, okay? But there was one rat in the pen of all the rats that had patches of color. She had black, brown, white, and so nobody really wanted her. Everybody came in, they wanted like a solid white one with the red eyes, or a solid black one, or a solid... So nobody bought her. So I would come in every day and I'd pick her up and I'd put her in my pocket, and she'd like this out of my pocket, and I'd work the whole day zoning and restocking shelves and stuff with her in my pocket. And I'd go to the break room and I'd buy like some nuts out of the vending machine and eat them and give her one or two, and she'd eat them out Doritos. And she got so used to me because rats are so smart that after only after like a week or two of that, I'd walk in and you'd see her up against the glass, like waiting for me to come in through the front door. And as soon as I'd walk in, you'd see her do this and just start running around the fucking cage like, he's here, he's here.
They're so smart.
I would have really emotional tag things that people can pull on me, and I hate that because I'm incredibly cagey. But guys, I like that. Alternatively, Lord Gex, screw you.
Yeah,
we use only hamsters here.
If I didn't have cats, I would totally get pet rats because they have like such cute little personalities. But I have a cat, so like that's not going to work out. But I would totally have rats. Cat.
I have to say this though. I would have adopted that damn rat if my mom. I still live with my parents. I was 16. My mom wouldn't have let that thing in her house.
Yeah.
I wish they would have allowed it. Spooky, we are on the same page here as well. We are all on the same pages in all regards.
Well,
yeah.
Another besides the fact that my mom is terrified of rodents, another reason is she owned Yorkies. And Yorkies...
Oh, no.
That rat would have never survived. Them fucking dogs were bred to chase rabbits and squirrels and rats and shit. That's what Yorkies fucking bred for. It's in their blood. And as nice as my mother's Yorkies were, they would have turned into vicious killers if I had brought a rat home. My buddy had rats, though, so I still got to hang out with some rats sometimes. But his were male, and he had like a big white one with red eyes, an albino rat. And it had such massive balls.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable. It's like
when he got up on my shoulder, he'd sit and his balls would just hang down.
It's very peculiar to experience.
Yeah, like it's like you just have to imagine because they have to drag their balls against wood chips and stuff like that, right? So it's like
they have such massive testicles.
Being that manly has its costs.
I mean, and the cruelest thing is the male rats are the most mild-tempered of the species. They're just the chilliest, and no one wants to mess with the testicles on their shoulder.
I do like how clean rabbits are as pets. Like, my friend who had pets, he had pet rabbits in the house because his little sister loved them, and so he had pet rabbits in the house. They'd literally be in the living room, and they'd poop. And it's like, I grew up with dogs, so I'm like, oh God, because the dog shit's on the floor, you're like, oh my God, it stinks. You're picking it up. Sometimes it sticks to the carpet. You gotta wash it with fucking carpet cleaner. Then fucking rabbits were like, pfft, and he was like, grabbed it with his bare hands and just threw it away because they're just little round pellets that are hard. He just grabbed them and was like, and I was like, and then he washed his hands and I was like, they're so clean that even their poop is just little.
Like little BBs or something.
Little BBs, yeah.
Jiffy said, so spooky is Willard. I think that's a Flowers for Algernon reference.
Oh, yeah, and bullshit, because if anyone's...
Are you calling me a fucking retard? Is that what you're saying, Snoopy? A retard who only, like socializes with rats? Is that it?
Okay, honestly, at this point, you're making an argument for Izu referring to me, not you. Because he knows me better. And thus I'd expect him to call me retard. But I like how rats have turned out this context. I love rats, all of them, and they've made a very good impression upon me, and this is why I'm absolutely thrilled to experiment extensively upon hamsters, gerbils, and other rodents, but not rats.
Hamsters are psychopaths. They only eat their babies.
Holy shit!
Yeah, if you scare a female hamster, she'll gobble her children in trying to protect them, and she'll accidentally eat them.
I've seen so much horror from hamsters.
Oh my god.
That actually happens
Yeah.
with pandas. People are trying to save pandas. Pandas are so dumb, they will eat their babies by accident. They just get hungry and eat their fucking baby.
Yeah.
They just get hungry and they go, oh, this looks good. It's like, why are you trying to save this dumbass species?
Yeah.
Like,
I never knew, I never understood why people talk about pandas so much because I don't care about them. Like,
Because they're cute. Don't you know?
yeah, I guess I've watched videos of them now and I'm like, oh my god, these things make me look like a Mensa member. Jesus Christ. Like, just trying to exist, trying to walk, trying to climb a tree, trying to remember how to eat. It's just, oh my god, I see why people talk about them because they're very unique animals.
they're the dumbest damn mammal in the world, I think. Honestly.
Well, next to koalas. Koalas are also fucking retards, too.
Yeah.
God damn it, Spooky, stop agreeing with
Yeah,
things.
but at least koalas
It's really freaky.
At least koalas are at least smart enough to remember to breed.
Yeah,
Fucking
but the
fucking pandas are like, it's been 25 years since I had a baby.
That's because
When does that do again?
Did you know that? That's how koalas feed their babies, by shitting in their mouths. That's how fucking advanced they are as a species.
At least they have nice breath, though, because they eat so much eucalyptus that when they breathe on you, it's like a menthol vapor rub. It's like
Okay. Well, now we know how koalas survive.
I remember holding a koala in kindergarten when they took us to the zoo for a field trip, and the woman came out with the koala, and we all got to get with the koala and hold it, and because it was a little koala, it wasn't even full grown yet. And I remember holding it, and it was like, and it opened its mouth, and I was like, smells like fucking Vicks vapor rub, man.
It's just weird, man.
He eats so much eucalyptus, and it's like poisonous to every other animal in the world. Eucalyptus, if you eat eucalyptus, you will fucking die. Not koalas. They just fucking eat it.
Beloved audience, and I do mean that sincerely, by the way, we wouldn't be here without you. We are 3 minutes from the end of almost 2 hours of this bullshit.
Did you read those last two super chats, by the way? There was two $10 ones. I was
a couple.
Yeah. Tiglet gave $10 say, damn leprechauns spreading their clover shit everywhere. Yep. And finally, Night Sun gave 10 to say, try using a vegetable oil or other edible oil on ticks. It causes them to suffocate, release their grip, and won't regurgitate blood back to the host, causing infections. I did not know that, sir. I did not know that.
But I don't actually mean.
But doesn't that require you to leave the tick on until it falls off?
Yeah.
I want to
that's the part
because hold on, they're doing their best to present a solution that covers these things without being necessarily aware of them, and that is valid advice. And I wanted to actually reiterate this when I was aware of it at the time, but I am so fine. Everything's fine.
Kaz says eucalyptus is not poisonous. Fuck off. Really? I could have sworn that shit was poisonous as hell.
Not to you, but
maybe not
to normal humans.
Maybe not to Kaz because he drinks so damn much his liver can fucking take anything. He's
Spooky! Spooky!
What?
I would say the whole thing, but you got this. So you're right. I only say spooky. I stand corrected.
Yep.
I'm afraid of you, but I actually really like you. And also think you could probably destroy me if I offend you, so I'm trying to balance this thing out pretty well.
Kaz, sorry you're wrong. I just Googled it. Surprisingly, eucalyptus leaves are poisonous to most animals and humans.
Okay.
But they are a delicacy for koalas. You can only take less than a teaspoon of the pure oil. That's like 3.5 milliliters, and it won't kill you, but it can cause nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. But you can live at least. A teaspoon will cause vomiting, diarrhea, and blood out of your ass, but at least you won't die. Like, if you go more than a teaspoon, you're fucking dead. It can be fatal to humans. It literally says that on the fucking WebMD page about eucalyptus. You can use it in lotions though, right? Can't you? Like, because it doesn't absorb through the skin.
Yeah.
So you can use it in like hair shampoos and it smells nice. But you can't eat that shit. Koalas can, but no, humans can't.
Yeah, good. Enjoy the stream, everyone. I'm being pulled off by people who think I'm going to say things I shouldn't. Okay. Hugs.
Good stream. We are about done, aren't we?
Yep,
Yeah.
it's
That went fast.
It's exactly 9 p.m., but I had fun talking about ticks on my dick and all kinds of shit.
Dicks on my dick.
Yeah, it went pretty fast.
It sounds like a really like shitty southern like our country song. Like, chicks on my hand, chicks on my hand.
I was about to end the stream, but then Night Sun donated a last minute $5 super chat to say, it doesn't take long. How long can you survive without taking a breath? Same with ticks. Yeah, but
if you get an Olympic diver tick on you, you're out of luck.
Yeah, like, I don't know how long ticks can hold their breaths with the suffocating oil. I might try it if I ever get a tick on me again. But I do know that they don't drown easy because they're so light. They just float. It's like ants in water. They just float on the water. They have no weight. They can't really get pulled down into it. It's hard to drown a tick, okay? I do know that for sure because I've seen them floating in water and they're fine. They fucking crawl right out, man. I've seen them in swimming pools and shit just floating on the surface of the water, you know. Zalaka gave $10 to say, Art, get out of the TARDIS. You're pissing off some people. I think he's talking to Ark, but Ark already left, I think.
And we should leave too.
Yep, it's 9 p.m. Thanks, folks. Hopefully we'll be back to normal side quests and mini quests starting next week. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Appreciate everybody coming by. Thanks for the donations and everything. Hope you guys enjoyed our mad discussion, our crazy antics. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Bye.